All right, today we're going to finish off the rest of Chapter 10 review. So just as we did yesterday, if you if you want to, you can actually write down every problem and get all of the points for the review just by following along, writing down the problem, writing down the work, and showing me your answer. Okay? Your choice. All right, so we're going to finish off the rest of the review. Here's number 19. We're supposed to solve this radical equation, x equals the square root of 3x plus 4. Okay, the first thing we always do is we get the radical by itself. And you can notice right off the bat that the radical is already all by itself over on the right side of the equation. So we're just going to leave it there. And then we're going to raise both sides of the equation to a power the same as the index. And since this is a square root, we're going to raise both sides to the second power. So left side and right side to the second power. All right, on the right side, the square root and the square cancel, just leaving you with what's inside. And on the left side, we just have x times x. And of course, we write that as x squared. Now, because this turned into a second degree equation, it has two answers. Therefore, we need to get 0 on one side. And I'm going to choose to get 0 on the right-hand side by moving plus 3x to the other side by subtraction and moving plus 4 to the other side by subtraction. So both of those would cancel on the right, leaving you with 0. And on the left, then, we'd have x squared minus 3x minus 4. Okay? At this point, we could try to factor this trinomial into two binomials, or we could use quadratic formula. Okay? But since this one does factor, I'm going to go that way. So I'm going to do FOIL in reverse and ask what firsts can multiply together to get x squared. Not too much for choices there. What lasts can multiply together to get negative 4. Several choices. We could have 2 and negative 2. We could have 1 and negative 4, or negative 1 and positive 4. But we're looking for the pair that also adds up to negative 3. And that pair of numbers would be positive 1 and negative 4. So then set each one of those equal to 0, creating two little equations. And solve each of the little equations. So move plus 1 to the other side by subtraction, and move minus 4 to the other side by addition. Okay, but like we've talked about in class, when we have two answers, when we've had that second degree equation, unfortunately we need to check to see if either or both of these will work. So we go back up to the original equation and we'll put in negative 1 for x and ask the question, is it going to be true? Is negative 1 going to be equal to the square root of negative 3 times 1 plus 4? There's no simplifying on the left side, but on the right side, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1, and the square root of 1 is 1. Obviously, these two things are not equal to each other, so we back up and cross out that solution. Then we try 4. We put in 4 for x, and again, ask the question, true or false. All right, and put 4 in the right side. So put 4 in everywhere we see an x. All right, again, no simplifying on the left, but on the right, 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. And the square root of 16 is 4, and you can tell that one checks. So we back up and circle just the 4. That's the only number that makes the equation true. Okay? Like always, feel free to pause the video if you want to get this entire problem down in your notebook so you can use it on the test. Feel free. Otherwise, I'm just going to move on to the next one. Okay, the next problem, number 20. Supposed to solve this radical equation, 8 times the square root of x minus 5 plus 34 is equal to 58. Okay, and again, the very first step, get the radical, in this case it's a square root, by itself. Right, so I've just highlighted the radical. Is it by itself on the left side? No, there's a times 8 and there's a plus 34. All right, we have to get rid of those, and we know how to do that. We move a plus number to the other side by subtraction. 58 minus 34 is 24, and we get rid of times 8 by dividing. Okay, so it takes me 2 steps to get the radical by itself. right? Now that it's by itself, we're going to raise both sides to a power, the same as the index. So if this is a square root, we're going to raise both sides to the second power. So the square root and the square cancel, leaving you with what's inside. And on the right side, 3 times 3 is 9. Right? To solve for x, to get the variable by itself, we need to move minus 5 to the other side, so we add. And so x is going to be equal to 9 plus 5, which is 14. And there's your solution. Okay? And the last one in this section is number 21. All right, so let's do that one. We have the square root of 5x plus 6 is equal to 5. And once again, I'll highlight the radical for you. Is it by itself on the left side? Nope. There's a plus 6, so we need to move that plus 6 to the other side by subtraction. Okay, now the radical is by itself, so we're going to raise both sides to the second power so that the square root and the square cancel. You're just left with what's inside. And on the right side, negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. To get rid of the times 5, we just simply have to divide. And so, pardon me, x is going to be equal to 1/5. Okay? Alrighty. Next then, we'll move on to the questions for section 4. And the problems in your review that you have to do first is number 24. And in number 24, what we give you is the ordered pairs. Let's see, I think I wrote that down wrong. 1, negative 10. Yeah, 3, negative 4. 5, 4. 7, 14. And 9, 26. All right, so this is the original set of ordered pairs. And on your test tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this something like f. Remember, we use things like f for names of functions. And then what we're going to ask you to do on the test is tell me what the ordered pairs would be for the inverse. And remember, notation for the inverse is a little negative 1, superscript. Okay? It's not an exponent, but it just denotes an inverse. And what we do with ordered pairs and inverses is we just switch around the x and the y. So as an example for this first ordered pair, the 1 and the negative 10 just switch spots. And of course the same thing is going to happen on every one. For the second ordered pair, the 3 and the negative 4, switch spots. For the third one, the 5 and the 4, switch spots. For the fourth one, the 7 and the 14, switch spots. And for the last one, the 9 and the 26, switch spots. And that's all there is to that, right? So we're going to give you some ordered pairs. We're going to tell you that represents a function like f or g or something like that. And then we're just simply going to ask you to switch the x's and y's for the inverse. Okay? So hopefully that one won't be too bad. Number 25 is almost identical to that. It's just set up slightly different. They set it up, I forgot to write that number down, 25. What they've done is they've just written it out as a table. So they've given us the ins and the outs. The ins, negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2 and 4. The outs, 6, 3, 0, negative 3, and negative 6. Okay, and again, this would then represent the original function like y or whatever it's called. And then what they would want us to do is have a similar table for y inverse. Again, the little negative 1 superscript. And all we do again is we just switch the ins and the outs. Ins are usually the x values. The outs are usually the y values. So we just switch them. So instead of negative 4 and 6, it's 6 and negative 4. Instead of negative 2 and 3, it's 3 and negative 2. And, well, 0 and 0, I guess, stays the same. Instead of 2 and negative 3, it's negative 2 and 3. Instead of 4 and negative 6, it's negative 6 and 4. Okay? And so this is what we're looking for. Okay, so you'll have one problem just like that tomorrow. You have one problem just like that. Okay? All right. And then you'll have 3 problems like 30, 31, 32. All right, so let's run through all three of those. So number 30, the original equation is negative 5x plus 10. And what they want us to do is find the inverse. They want us to find the inverse of that. So if it's written as f of x, we rewrite that as y. And then to find an inverse, we switch out the x and the y. So instead of y equals, we write it as x equals. Instead of negative 5x plus 10, we write it as negative 5y plus 10. And then to finish, you have to get the y by itself again. So how do you move plus 10 to the other side? Subtract. And how do you get rid of times negative 5? Divide. Okay, so y is going to be equal to negative 1/5 x plus 2. Right? But at the very end, instead of leaving it as y, what we do is we call it the original function name. And let me change colors on you so you can see it clearly. We take the original function name, right? And we attach the little -1 superscript. So we don't leave it as y. We replace it with the original name, whether it's F or G or R or whatever the heck it is. And then we use the little -1 superscript. Okay? So again, feel free to pause if you need to get all of one of these down. You'll have 3 of these on your test. So make sure you know what you're up to and make sure you have a couple of good examples. Okay? Here's the last 2 then. Number 31 gives us the following function: f of x is equal to 3x squared minus 1. And they give us this little x has to be greater than or equal to 0. And I'll just explain where that comes in at the end. Okay, but to find the inverse, if we have a functional notation, we replace it with y. Then we switch out the x and the y letters. So instead of y equals, x equals. Instead of 3x squared minus 1, we have 3y squared minus 1. And then again, what we have to do is get the y by itself. So to do that, we have to move -1 to the other side by addition. We have to get rid of times 3, so we divide. And we have to get rid of a power of 2 by doing the inverse, which is taking the square root. So that the square root and the square cancel, and we'd be left with y. And then we'd have the square root of x plus 1 over 3. Now normally when we take a square root, we get 2 possible solutions. Let me put them in a different color, like blue or something. When we take the square root, normally we get a plus or a minus. But what this little extra condition at the start tells us is only use the positive version of the answer. Don't worry about the negative. Okay? And again, what we do is we don't write our answer as y equals. We go back to the original name. In this case, it was f of x. And we attach the little -1 superscript. And that would then be the inverse of the original function. Okay? And finally, number 32 starts us off with f of x is equal to 1/2 times the square root of 2x plus 6. Yeah. And once again, we want to find the inverse. So if we have functional notation, we replace that with a y. Then we switch out the 2 letters. So instead of y equals, x equals. Instead of 1/2 square root of 2x plus 6, we have 1/2 times the square root of 2y plus 6. All right, and then, like usual, we have to solve for y. We have to get the y by itself. All right, so to do that, I'm going to start by multiplying both sides by 2 so that the 1/2 and the 2 cancel. Okay, then what we've been practicing in this chapter, to get rid of a square root, we raise both sides to the second power. So that on the right-hand side, the square root and the square cancel, leaving you with what's inside. And on the left-hand side, 2 times 2 is 4, and x times x is x squared. Then move plus 6 to the other side by subtraction. And I'm writing a little too big, so I'm going to have to scooch this across to finish off. So there's where I'm at right now. And then to get rid of the times 2, divide. So y is going to be equal to 4 divided by 2 is 2, x squared, and negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. But again, we don't leave the y equals at the very end. We replace that then with the original name of the function, which was f, and then we use the little -1 superscript. Okay? And that then completes all of your chapter review. So if you've been paying attention, you can turn that in tomorrow, and you'll get full credit because you've done every single problem. The only thing that's on the review, the only thing that wasn't on the review that you will see on your test, there's only one other kind of problem, and that is, excuse me, and that is I will give you a pair of equations that are inverses of each other, and then what I'm going to ask you to do is show me that they are inverses. Show me that they're inverses of each other. Okay? So just as an example, let's see if I can just come up with one kind of off the top of my head. If I gave you a problem like y is equal to, oh gosh darn, I don't know, 3x minus 9, and then I gave you y is equal to 1/3 x plus 3, I think that's going to do it. I think those are going to be inverses. I'm just doing this one off the top of my head. But I'm just going to give you 2 problems where I say, show that these are inverses. Okay? And one option is to do what we did in class, which was put a number into one of the equations, doesn't matter which one you start with. So essentially just grab a random number for x, like 5, and do the arithmetic. 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 minus 9 is 6. Then take that answer and put it into the other equation. So put 6 into the second equation and do the arithmetic. 1/3 times 6 is 2, and 2 plus 3 is 5. And then what I'd like you to show me is that that's the number that you put in originally. Okay, so there's going to be 2 problems just like that. Hopefully they won't be a big deal. We've practiced quite a few of those in class, so hopefully you'll be able to do those okay. All right, so finish up. If there's anything I went too fast on, of course, feel free to rewind the video so you can get those down into your assignment. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow for your Chapter 10 test.